Hello everybody, welcome to Streetlight Babble. We'll be reviewing
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Now, we were considering doing a... Hey, we're almost there. We were considering doing a non-spoiler and spoiler video for this, but we realized that this movie doesn't necessarily deserve a non-spoiler review because, let's be honest, we're not giving this movie a recommendation. So this entire video is going to be spoiler heavy, but it really doesn't matter because, seriously, don't see this movie. This movie gave Chris a stroke.
Having a stroke.
So, Chris, let's dive in, shall we, to what I like to call Trainwreck the movie. Oh wait, there was a Trainwreck movie.
That too was a train wreck, but today we're going to be focusing on Rangers.
Powerful Rangers, at that.
So
once again, spoilers.
Spoilers. Don't care. Why do you care? Don't watch it!
Don't see it, seriously. Don't see it.
Don't watch it!
Yes, so a little bit of backstory. Movie opens up with the former Red Ranger portrayed by Bryan Cranston. Also,
Brian.
We're going to be calling them by their colors in terms of the Rangers because none of them have any character
And
whatsoever.
we're a little bit racist.
Just a little bit. We'll get into that.
And the colors and their actors, because who cares what their names are?
Seriously, I don't remember any of their names.
I don't think they even said their names.
And we don't even have the luxury of knowing any of the actors either, so we can't call them by their actor names.
So we're gonna make like it's the 1700s and call them by their colors. Okay.
Alright. So anyways, Bryan Cranston is facing off against Evil Lady, who's played by Elizabeth Banks. I also don't remember her character's name. That's bad. The two of them are facing off. Things happen 65 million years ago, and then flash forward to today, where our protagonist, the Red Ranger, Part 2, steals a cow.
The movie I forgot about the movie starts with a joke about jerking cows off.
I really wish we were kidding.
So he's like, so they're bringing a cow into their school as a prank. This guy and his friend, the Red Ranger and his friend, and they're like,
who you never see again.
I thought he'd be one of the Rangers, but he's just Gorn. But yeah, and he's like, oh no, it should be relaxed. I milked it, and he's like, it's a guy, and he's like, that explains the one udder.
And then they zoom in on the cow's dick, and by cow I mean bull.
And do you know how hard it is to wrangle a bull if you don't know how to do it or don't have the proper equipment? They're not known to be passive.
I don't know. I've met many passive bulls. Most of them were on tranquilizers, though.
Most of them were on my plate as steaks.
Yes. But, yeah, so flash forward a little bit in time. Again, there are a lot of time jumps in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
A lot of time jumps.
So, modern day, our heroes kind of meet together in detention. And first I'm thinking, okay, a little bit of a rough start, but maybe they're going to try and go for a Breakfast Club theme.
Yeah, that's what immediately we're like, Breakfast Club, they're doing Breakfast Club. Maybe it'd be good. Hey, it started really bad with 65 million years ago and a joke about jerking bulls off, but hey.
Maybe it could change.
It'll change.
Something.
Be Breakfast Clubby. And
it didn't, because only 3 of our 5 main characters were in the Breakfast Club detention cell. They then go... also, we meet we meet the Pink Ranger and the Blue Ranger.
Yeah, the Pink Ranger's a preppy girl who... She shared nudes, which is why she's in detention. She shared somebody else's nudes, and she sent the nudes of her friend to the friend's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then the boyfriend said that she's like a bad person, so she punched the boyfriend in the face and chipped his tooth. And she's like,
but they were adamant that it got put back in.
Yeah, and they just kept saying, "Oh, but don't worry, they put the tooth back in." I'm like, she's a dick.
She's
a motherfucker. What the hell?
Yeah, she was, and then there's this dramatic hair cutting scene where she has this long hair, and then
at first she's getting bullied by 2 girls, and the girls are like, "You're no longer a friend," and you're supposed to think, "Oh, those girls are bullies," but you shared one of their nudes. What did you expect?
Yeah. And then we meet the Blue Ranger,
And then,
who has
like,
autism.
she cuts her hair, and they're like, oh, she's edgy now. And I was like, she's a dick!
She was classic high school, am I right?
No!
Oh.
First off, why would you send your friend's nudes to their own, like, boyfriend or girlfriend? What's the point?
I don't know.
But...
It made no sense.
And this is just a small part. This is just a tiny part of this movie, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes, and then we meet the Blue Ranger, like I said, who has autism.
He's a black kid with autism.
And that's his character.
That's his whole character. And he explains his whole character. Like, he befriends the main character because he undoes his little shock ankle bracelet that he got for being a moron. And he's just like, oh, I'm on the spectrum, and my father died, and we collected things, and we tinkered around, and I'm the inventor one. Can you tell?
Can you tell I'm the crafty one?
Can you tell I'm the smart one?
And
It's with like 5 lines, and he explains his whole character. They don't have to.
No.
Remember the days when we showed you a person's character through their actions?
No, we have to tell you.
And their emotions and how they dealt with different situations? Oh no, just tell everybody what his character is. Oh
my god. And then the other two show up and they go out, they find these coins, they get powers there, and then they meet up with Bryan Cranston wall character.
Yeah, this is a very like the whole group is diverse. I think they even made a joke about it, like, oh, the Power Rangers are all different colors, and
a bunch of different kids and a bunch of different colors, and we both looked at each other in the theater and were like, oh, they went there.
Like,
you didn't have to address that, but
and like the Asian kid, he was a bit reckless, and he was always just telling people, oh, I'm crazy. But it's like
that's another instance where you can show and not tell.
That's not what makes you crazy. You saying that you're crazy over and over. Also is yet another film where 30-year-olds are playing high schoolers, by the way.
Did we learn nothing from Tobey Maguire?
We learned nothing.
We did not. So and then they find out that they're Power Rangers, but they can't morph into Power Rangers, but they still have all the powers of the Power Rangers.
On this excursion, they find these stones. Also, there's this loner girl, which, by the way, the preppy girl who shared the nudes and the loner runaway girl look almost exactly similar. They both have short black hair. They're both kind of a little multi-ethnic a little bit.
Like, I had part of me felt like through the entire movie, one of them was an actress and the other one was a stunt double, and they were like, well, it's cheaper to just keep the stunt double on the rest of the movie.
I know, it was weird. It was just...
It was uncomfortable.
But anyway, yeah, they find these stones, and they realize, oh, we have superpowers now, and well, God, I'm not even gonna cut that out. Who cares?
No, this movie doesn't deserve it.
I'm gonna put as much effort into this video as they put into this movie. We haven't even written notes for this. This is Wonder Woman notes.
Yeah, this movie doesn't deserve notes.
Anyway,
so they progress on through. Elizabeth Banks' character comes back to life, and then she starts stealing gold out of people's teeth, and then they have a fight at the end.
Oh yeah, she steals gold to make a giant golem made of gold to be her servant. She's the villain. And the Power Rangers. Okay, so when they find their amulets, they get the powers. They go and they find an ancient alien ship. On accident, by the way.
Yeah.
Everything in this movie happens on accident.
Yes.
And they meet a robot who's supposed to be quippy and smart, and he's not.
He's not.
He's just annoying, really.
He was the one who had the line about them all being different races.
He's comedic relief without being comedic. Bryan Cranston, I guess he was all right, but
Bryan Cranston was all right, and like we said, Elizabeth Banks was the villain, and you could tell of all the people that were on set, she was the only one who was having fun. Yeah. She was probably high.
She might have taken speed before this, because she knew she was just doing this for a paycheck. There was not going to be any artistic merit. Nobody's going to look at her in some new great light. Oh, what a great performance! Because she was like, "Hello, I'm so evil."
Like we're talking Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dr. Freeze levels of just like hamming it up.
It was just a mess. Oh my.
Yeah, but anyways, so continue, like we said, they go through their training montage to a pop song.
There's a training montage because Bryan Cranston's like, you gotta learn to become Power Rangers.
Yeah, they go, they face off with the villain once, they get defeated.
And she kills the black kid first, and of course, I then turned to Jake and was like, they always kill the autistic kid first.
And
Then
then,
get my joke. I could have worked it in cleverly into this video, but I'm not.
because we don't care. This movie, there is nothing about this movie to care about.
At this point, this is just therapy for us to talk about our trauma.
Yes.
Okay?
You
And
guys-
by the way, people were laughing at the jokes in the movie.
Yes.
They were laughing at the jokes. And I was like, why?
I thought I was
Wow.
more disappointed in my fellow Americans on Election Day. I couldn't have been more wrong.
I thought I couldn't lose more faith in humanity, but I did.
It's just, you look around and you hear these people laughing at these jokes, and different people of different backgrounds. There was a couple of families there, there were a couple of groups of guys, a couple of groups of girls. I mean, everyone but us was laughing at this, and we're just slowly just delving into deeper and deeper shock until the point...
Yeah, every time... So, basically what was happening with me, I noticed every time I looked over at Jake, he kept getting taller. Because I kept sinking into my seat over the course of the entire movie without any need to just lift myself back up. It didn't mean anything. And then every time I looked at him, he was like...
That was my face.
He just looks at me like that, and he just looks back, and that's it. And oh my god. So yeah, they say they get a Megazord. So yeah, they get the golden golem, and like the black guy somehow finds. So there's a MacGuffin that the evil lady's looking for. She's looking for the source of all life on Earth,
And it's Krispy Kremes.
which is a crystal. And the black kid basically the little robot tells the black kid. He's like, the Blue Ranger, but he just tells him, nobody knows where the thing of life is, but we know it's just near here, but we have no way of knowing. And somehow he's just math on his wall and fills all of his walls with papers and then finds it with no explanation. He just finds it.
He just finds
and
it.
He realizes it's under the Krispy Kreme. So while they're all being held hostage after their first fight with Elizabeth Banks, he's like, oh, it's under the Krispy Kreme, and she's like, ooh, it must be a wonderful place, this Krispy Kreme.
Sponsor.
Yeah, obvious sponsor. And yeah, she goes there, like in the final fight, she's eating a donut. I guess that was kind of supposed to be funny.
Yeah, this entire movie was a very, very bad Krispy Kreme ad. That's what this movie was.
Yeah, so
But yeah, the final fight, they're in their Zoids, they're fighting, and then they go into the Megazoid.
They get their little transportation tanks, all of which are in the shapes of different dinosaurs,
and then they start losing, and then they morph into the giant Megazoid, and then
the big Megazord, and they fight the gold monster.
And then they win, and then they bitch slap her back into outer space.
Yeah, and then she's charges at them, and they bitch slap her. And I guess it was a callback to another joke where at the beginning of the movie, Red Power Ranger bitch slapped a bully, which was like the bully looked like somebody who would be bullied.
Not a bully.
The bully was like a scrawny kid with like long hair, and he was just like he looked more like he would end up being a Columbine shooter, to be honest.
Yeah.
Than like kind of a jock bully, and yeah.
And then at the end, there's a credit scene.
It's an end credit scene. Well, mid credit scene.
Mid credit scene. We didn't stay till after the credit.
I didn't want to.
We were both in enough shock where we couldn't move to the point of where we stayed to the mid credit scene, and then after that, I was like, no, I need to snap out of this.
Snapped out. There were times where I wanted to walk out of the movie. Like they played the Go Go Power Rangers song. I wanted and even Jake, he told me I was about to walk out, and I was like, dude, I would have gone with you. I wouldn't. What reason do I have to be in this movie?
Except to warn all of you to not see it.
That's pretty much what kept me going, is I needed to warn you all. And we have no nostalgia with Power Rangers, so maybe we just don't get it.
But as like an objective movie audience, it was not a good movie.
But I don't know about you, but are there cow jerking off jokes in the Power Rangers animes or something? I don't know. That's up to you, the Power Ranger fans out there, to tell us. But
yeah. So overall, Chris,
I felt embarrassed to be in that theater. To be honest, I was like, that's part of the reason I was sinking down, because I was like, don't look at me.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at my shame.
Oh man, no, I totally agree. I don't know what I mean, did I just watch someone get murdered? I'd probably prefer to see that than watch this movie.
I know, I felt like I was at a funeral.
Alright, Chris. If you were to give it a rating, what would you give
God,
Power Rangers?
Well, you know, I give it a bucket of sad, cum-infused prostitute tears out of 10. Sad prostitute. A bucket of prostitute tears out of 10. Or if you want a numerical rating, 0 out of 10. No, don't go see it. Don't see it.
I would agree. I'd definitely give this disappointing prom sex out of 10.
You know, I would... disappointing... Well, at least you're gonna have sex at prom.
Not junior year.
Oh. Yes, disappointing prom sex out of 10.
No, yeah, 0 out of 10. Don't see this.
Because I was thinking, because we were pretty late to this movie, because it was out like a week or two ago, or 3, and I was about to say, like, oh, how should I make this video? Should I start with, like, you know, better late than never? No, better never.
Better never.
Never.
Don't Redbox this. If you see it on Netflix, don't watch it. Stay away from this movie. Hopefully it flops. It's not going to flop terribly. People were laughing in the theater.
There were more people in the theater than I thought they'd be.
For a Sunday evening show.
A Sunday evening show that, 3 weeks removed from the movie's release. And the theater was, like, more than halfway full. But it was a small theater, to be fair. But
still, it was more full than both of us were expecting.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, don't see this movie. However, we are going to have some more reviews of other things that have come out recently, coming up later this week. Mm-hmm. Some Iron Fist, maybe.
Iron Fist, Ghost in the Shell, we saw all those things. We're back, everybody!
We're back, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
See you soon, bye-bye.
Don't see this movie!